Kyren Williams is my favorite in the league running back right now.
Yeah, what about him? What about him makes you like him?
First, I mean, he's small, so like you wouldn't be able to think that he runs as powerful as he does,
right,
and he's as shifty as he is. And I mean, he plays, man, and he finds holes. He kind of reminds me of me. Really,
I was just about to say,
like,
he hears me talk about him a lot. Right.
Yeah, so I love his game.
Right.
All right, that was Josh Jacobs on Pro Football Talk yesterday talking about his favorite running back in the NFL, who we are talking about right now, Kyren Williams. Yeah. Congratulations, Kyren. What's your reaction when you hear Josh say that?
Man, I can't do nothing but smile. Like that that makes me feel so good because it's like I'm getting recognition from people who I looked up to. You know, somebody that, Josh Jacobs, I saw him at Alabama, I saw him with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I see him now with the Green Bay Packers and doing what he's doing. That's like somebody that I envision myself to be like, somebody that where he was at in his career when I was, I guess still coming up. I've always wanted to be where he was at, and so just being able to hear him say that is, it makes me feel good. Makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
No, that's awesome. So your eyebrows perk up when you're listening to that. That's cool. Is there anyone, aside from Josh, who you really look at in the league and kind of try and emulate their style?
So I've always been a big fan of Christian McCaffrey. That's somebody that I've always envisioned myself truly being like, being able to be a person who can catch the ball and run the ball. Obviously Saquon and Derrick Henry. Just being able to be – I've always wanted to be a dominant individual player. I've always wanted to be that. And so – those guys who are dominant at the running back position, that's who I kind of see myself like.
And it's interesting you bring up McCaffrey because the knock on McCaffrey coming out of Stanford wasn't that he wasn't talented. They're like, he's too small. This isn't a guy that can be an every down running back in the NFL, and that was one of the knocks on you, and obviously both of you have proven all those critics wrong, becoming workhorse backs for your NFL teams. This year, you set a career high in rushing yards, almost 1,300. You had 14 rushing touchdowns. Over the last 2 seasons, no running back in the NFL has more touchdowns than Kyren Williams. You have 31 total touchdowns, top 10 fantasy running back 4 over the last 2 years as well. What do you attribute that success to? Like, how were you able to, again, because people were like, this guy, he's too small. He can't handle 20 touches a game, and then you come in and you do it. How did that happen?
That is from all the hard work, belief, and confidence that I have in myself and that I had put in. Like you said, this is not the first time that I've been overlooked. My whole career, my whole life, whether that's Little League to high school to college, I've always been overlooked. I always just, I don't know if he can do this. I don't know if he's bigger enough, fast enough to do this. And then I do those things, and it's just like, what can they say now, And so being able to be in that position is being able to, I guess, shut those people up, it's the best feeling because I know what I'm capable of and I know where it's come from. It's genuine and it's all hard work. It's all believing in myself and knowing that I'm supposed to be in this position.
Yep. There's not many running backs who carry the ball as often as you do who can, get 20, 25 carries, more committees now in the NFL. Yeah. Do you find that with the more work you get, do you feel that you build and get stronger as the game goes on?
1,000%. Heck yeah. I feel as if the more touches I get, the more I get going, the more I'm starting to see things, the better my feel is for how they're trying to attack me and how they're trying to, destroy blocks and whatnot. And so, yeah, I've always been like that. The more I get going, the better I get.
You mentioned Saquon as one of your favorite running backs in the NFL. You got to see him in the playoffs, obviously not the result you guys wanted. Tough loss. That was actually our game, NBC's game, our last game of the season for Sunday Night Football. But running backs are going to be a big part of what happens on Sunday in the Super Bowl. Obviously, Saquon's going to be a focal point of the Eagles. And for the Chiefs to run the way they need Hunt and Pacheco to do what they do, how do you see the running backs playing out on Sunday?
Like you said, I think they're going to be a big point of this game. I think Saquon has a bigger how would I say? Saquon has a bigger chance, to take off in this game, because he's been dominant this whole season throughout every single game. We played him twice, and he's been dominant both times that we played him. And so I think it's going to start up front with the line of scrimmage. Is how is the Chiefs defense going to stone the Eagles offense and be able to slow down? Because I've always said that I don't think you can stop Saquon. You can just limit him. He's too good of a player to completely not get any production from. They're going to find a way to get him the ball somehow, some way. And so I think if the Chiefs are able to do that and the Eagles have an answer, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a back and forth
Who do you
game.
think wins?
I got the Chiefs. I'm not going for a team that beat us twice.
I'm with you.
I can't do that.
I'm with you as well.
You did have to play the Eagles twice and have to go up against Jalen Carter and that D-line.
Yeah.
Like, how difficult is that D-line to run against? And what kind of success do you think Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco might have?
I think it's a very hard defense to run against in general because they're active from all three levels, you know, from the D-line to the linebackers to the safeties coming down to fill the gaps. But I think that if the Chiefs running backs, if they can be patient, if they can hit their holes and be okay with a 4-yard gain, a 5-yard gain, and just keep stacking those, then it'll be all right.
Kyren, your teammate Cooper Kupp made news a couple of days ago. He put on social media that he's been told that he was going to be traded.
Yeah.
You know, very heartfelt note to the Los Angeles community as well. I was curious, were you surprised by that? Have you had a chance to talk to Coop yet?
Yeah. I wasn't surprised. I mean, I was surprised by that. You know, Coop has been a person that before I even got to the league, like that is the Rams star. Like that's the pillar of who the Rams are. That's Cooper Kupp. And so being able to, you know, I guess play with him this last 3 years, I've actually got to experience that firsthand to see how he is as a person, as a veteran, as a person who, you know, who's willing to help the people that are around him out, you know, give them advice, be able to talk to them about football or off the field, and just be able to have a guy that you can go to, a guy that you can just talk to about anything with. You know, that's something that I saw outside of, you know, what people that on the outside don't see about Cooper Kupp. And so it was definitely tough.
Do you have a theory about, because Cooper has been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL for so long,
right?
But last couple of games just didn't seem to be a big part of the game plan. Don't know if that was fluky or any thoughts on why the production sort of tailed off towards the end of the year?
Nah, I mean, I couldn't tell you why to a point or to a T. You know, I just think that, you know, with some of the, I guess, the game plans that we do have, I guess other guys are, I guess, highlighted more than, you know, Cooper has been. But I would say the last 3 games, when we needed Cooper Kupp for a third down, a long third down, Matthew threw it up and he would come down with it. And so, like, being able to have that, I guess, security blanket to where if we need a quick first down or we need a long third down to, you know, get something going, Cooper was there for us. I remember in the Vikings game and I remember in the Eagles games that he did that for us. And so being able to have, you know, a guy like Cooper where you can just rely on, it's gonna be tough to replace.
Yep. Matthew Stafford's got to be one of the most unique quarterbacks to play with because of his ability to do things outside of structure and the arm angles and everything. And one of your biggest strengths is as a receiver in the pass game. So just how has it been like kind of adapting to Stafford and learning his game over the past couple of years?
Man, it's been so cool. You know, it's been an experience. You know, there's something that as a rookie, I was starstruck being around Matthew Stafford. I can't lie. I mean, like I said, I love this game so much, and I give so much respect to the people that were doing this before, you know, where I was wanted to be. And so being able to be around Matthew and how he prepares for a game or how he has so much command and control of what he does and what our offense is revolved around, it's such a learning experience. You know, I remember my rookie year, I wasn't very vocal, and I see how vocal Matthew is, and okay, I got a little bit more vocal, and now I kind of see myself as a leader on this team and somebody that people can come to because I learned from those guys. I learned from a Cooper. I learned from a Matthew. I learned from, you know, being around the people who have great success in this game.
Kyren, so unfortunately it looks like Cooper's time in Los Angeles is coming to an end. We all know about Puka. We all know about you. Demarcus Robinson's had some really nice moments. But for those of us looking at fantasy football, who are some guys in practice that you know, like, hey, when this guy gets a shot, watch out. And obviously there's going to be some opportunity with Cooper no longer on the team.
1,000%. And I think those guys are, man, Jordan Whittington from Texas, the rookie, he's great potential, man. You can see this a little bit that he showed on special teams this year, being able to return the ball. I'm excited for what he has to bring into, you know, this second season, his sophomore season, and what he's able to do. And guys like TJ, Tyler Johnson, who's shown in games that he's capable of, you know, making those big plays and being able to be a receiver who, you know, gets those yards at the catch. And so being able to have those guys coming back and be with us. Hopefully, I'm excited for, the things that we're able to do as offense.
Okay. The wild card round against the Vikings, obviously playing that game in Arizona after the terrible events in Los Angeles, and then you guys come out and you win the game, incredible win for the city. What was that week like leading up to the game? Was it just the preparation disrupted, and by the time you got onto the field just felt like a normal game, or what was that like?
Man, the week was crazy. This is a week that you couldn't imagine actually being in the NFL having, because it felt like a bowl week. It felt like you're in college, because we left to go to Arizona, I guess, 4 days before the game even, started. And so we were out there with our friends, families. Everybody had their kids. Everybody had their girlfriends, their wives, whoever it may be. They were all out there at the same hotel. So it was kind of like a real family feeling, a real feeling that we're all in this together. And in spite of, what's going on back home in Los Angeles, we still have a job to do. And at the end of the day, that's to go out there, against the Vikings and be able to put on a great display of football. And I think that we took that as a good thing, as a motivation to where we can motivate the city or get the city hope by the way that we play and the way that we go out there and compete on Sunday, whatever day, or Monday, whatever day the game was. Yep. And I think we did that to perfection.
Definitely.
We are a fantasy football show, Kyren. I met you last night.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about it as well. Obviously, you care about the Rams winning and trying to get to another Super Bowl. But does fantasy football come up in your life? Have you ever played fantasy? Do fans come up and tell you? Because you're a very popular pick.
No, I've learned it over the last few years. I've never really played fantasy football. I knew what it was growing up. I had friends that played fantasy football, but it was just too much for me. Like, I got to go on this app and change my lineup and whatnot. And so I always forgot about it and lost.
But do your friends hit you up, or like, do people come up to you and
yes, like, I think it's probably every person that comes up to me is thank you for fantasy points, and it'll be from kids that are 12-year-olds to adults that are about 40, 50-year-olds. Yeah. So it's crazy the amount of different people who play fantasy, and I'm able to allow them to win championships. So it's a cool feeling for sure.
Yeah. You won a lot of people a lot of money this year. They need to give you a cut.
Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to that. That's what I'd be saying.
Yeah, well, particularly 2 seasons ago, given that you kind of came out of nowhere in the public eye and just exceeded expectations so rapidly, you would have won a lot of people their leagues.
1,000%.
For sure. You are here thanks to our friends at Sleep Number. Talk to me about your partnership with Sleep Number.
My partnership with Sleep Number is one I've always wanted to have. I remember getting into the league. Well, I remember actually before I got to the league, seeing those commercials, like, I want a Sleep Number bed, and knowing a little bit about how important sleep was to me until I really got the Sleep Number bed, and then I can see how much it makes a difference. I can see how fast my body recovers, how well that I'm rested, and I'm able to wake up in the next day with a great attitude and a great mindset to attack the day. And so being able to have that Sleep Number, that gives me the competitive advantage to, I guess, beat my opponents, beat the people that are in front of me. And so I'm blessed to be able to partner with Sleep Number, but also to have a Sleep Number as well.
Last question for me, Kyren. How fun was this Notre Dame season for you?
It was so fun. To be able to sit back and, be a true fan, because I'm 3 years removed from Notre Dame. None of my, friends are still there. But it was great to be able to see and to know the amount of work that is put in to get to where they got. It doesn't get talked about a lot. The grind, the mental, the physical, the toughness that you have to be able to withstand a long season. I was great. My heart felt good watching them go out there and play.
Have they reached out to you? Have you been able to get do they want you to talk to the team, that kind of stuff, and engage with the program at all?
Not recently, not this past year. But that's something I definitely should do. That's something I definitely should go back to, and just being able to, because I'm not too far removed to where I can still relate to them and still have kind of know what's going on, and we're kind of in the same era still, so I can be able to go out there and tell my story, but also to be able to hear their story and can relate to them. So I would definitely be excited to do that.
Yeah, be a resource for them. Like, hey, this is what it takes to get to the next level.
Yeah,
I think it'd be something that they would definitely appreciate and enjoy. But congratulations on a great season, not only for the Irish, but also for the Rams and for you personally. Continued success, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Kyren Williams, everyone.
Yep.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.